Hello, and welcome to the Base, Big and Small Screens. This week, this week I'd like to talk to you about, or is it? It's in one of these places. I'm not sure which, and it should appear right about now. There we have it. Ghostbusters, 2016, the all-female cast, Ghostbusters. I had a chance to go and see that this weekend. Um, Earlier this week, I put up a video of my depraved indifference to intelligent life where I talked about the Ghostbusters movie and why it should exist. If any of you want to check out that particular video, you can click on this link, helpful little link box right up here, and that'll take you right to it. Otherwise, stick around and we'll talk about the movie. So, do I still have my opinion of Ghostbusters? That it should exist? Uh, Absolutely. Absolutely. Because I have seen it and I have to say that it is a good movie. Uh, it may not be a great movie. It may not be an all-time classic in another 30 years, like the original Ghostbusters is. See, I enjoy the original Ghostbusters. I even like Ghostbusters 2. Uh, because the original Ghostbusters is very much more of a subtle form of comedy. There's a lot more there's a lot more give and take with the characters, a lot more situational comedy. A lot of modern day comedies don't really appeal to me. I'm not sure why. It's a lot more in your face humor. They feel like they've got to put the humor right out there and make it really obvious in order to get the laughs. And that's something a lot of the older ones never really did. But I was pleasantly surprised with Ghostbusters because they kind of did a lot of things that I really liked with the show. That that basically, in my opinion, set the new Ghostbusters movie practically shoulder to shoulder with the original, because the new Ghostbusters movie is not like the old Ghostbusters movie. They've diverged so much. They've only kept the same basic premise where you have a group of scientists who decide to catch ghosts using their own equipment and save New York. That's literally the only thing that is the same. Everything else is pretty much different. Uh, you've got you've got the old original Ghostbusters with like I said, a very subtle form of comedy, very much character driven, situational driven, and it really tweaks my funny bone. I really love comedies like that. The new Ghostbusters is surprisingly subtle. I thought it would be more upfront and in your face than it is. And there are some upfront and in your face humor moments. But a lot of it is a lot more subtle. And mostly, I just had fun. I enjoyed the heck out of myself sitting in that theater, watching those ladies up on screen, watching Chris Hemsworth as Kevin. Oh my God. He kind of yeah, he kind of steals the show just a little bit in his own way, and a whole bunch of other things. The marketing department really dropped the ball on this one because, yeah, I was worried going in about Leslie Jones's character in particular because everything I saw in the trailers kind of depicted her as very loud, very obnoxious, almost stereotypical token black character that has I'm sure you've seen it in dozens of other movies out there. It seemed to be coming across that way. And her character is nothing like that. All the obnoxious bits in the trailer are pretty much it. There isn't anything else, any other point in the movie where she acts like that. And the situations that she's acting like that in are kind of believable. Are very believable. So I really liked her in it. I liked Kristen Wiig and Melissa McCarthy. I'm not usually a huge Melissa McCarthy fan, and I don't really know too much Kristen Wiig. Kristen Wiig plays an amazing straight character in this, which I adore. Melissa McCarthy plays kind of very optimistic, and this is one of the things I really liked movie. You had Kristen Wiig, Melissa McCarthy, Kate McKinnon, and Leslie Jones. Naturally, you look at this one and then you look at the original Ghostbusters movie. You can draw some parallels. Uh, Leslie Jones is obviously the analog to Ernie Hudson. Kate McKinnon is very much looks the analog to Egon Spengler. Um, Melissa McCarthy is very optimistic, very bright and bubbly, very hopeful character, and is kind of the analog to Raymond Stantz. And then you have Kristen Wiig, who's kind of supposed to be the analog to Peter Venkman. However, and this is the thing I love about this, they are nothing like those characters. They are not female versions of the original Ghostbusters. They are their own characters with complete character development for each one of them. And they are radically different, and none of them are really any analogs to the original. That's like the first diverging point. The plot is also a diverging point. Some of the beats are kind of similar in a way, but the plot is vastly different. Um, there's some other character development in terms of you've got some cameos with as many of the original Ghostbusters cast as was possible to get, I believe, um, all playing completely unrelated characters to the originals, but simply seeing them there, uh, especially Bill Murray playing this uh, kind of an old boy debunker of myths who is trying to basically prove that these girls are frauds. Comes across as a bit of an ass, and it's Bill Murray. He plays that type of a character extremely well. He probably could have played that role in his sleep, and he did it with a nice bit of panache that I really liked. Um, there was also a wonderful moment with the late Harold Ramis where they included a bust, like the bust of like a former dean or a former professor at a college that was honored by having a bust in this college. And you see it, they focus, the camera focuses on it very, very early in the movie um, for like 2 or 3 seconds. And it was a nice little nod to the fact, to honor Harold Ramis for everything he did for the original movie, which I thought was very sweet and tugged at my heartstrings a little bit. Uh, but I liked practically everything about the movie. I know that there's some people out there, Movie Bob in particular, who mentioned a villain, and a bit of a limp third act, and I can completely understand where that criticism is coming from. Um, but I didn't find the villain weak, and I didn't find the third act limp. In my opinion, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the villain. I enjoyed the setup because it was kind of believable, especially in this day and age, for someone to go off the rails and do what this guy did. I'm not going to get into any details on that. And I know there was other people out there I've heard complaining that apparently every man in this movie is either portrayed as being an idiot, uh, incompetent, or an asshole. And I can kind of agree with that. That definitely did happen. There wasn't a lot of men in there that came across particularly well in the particular in this movie. But as a man, I wasn't offended by that. I thought it was kind of amusing and rather funny because, I mean, face it, guys, seriously, think about it. How many movies out there have the exact same thing done to both men and women in the past? How many of them are there? All kinds. It's a staple. It's something that happens. Getting all bent out of shape over it because it's happening in this movie, I don't get it myself. I thought it was a cool movie. I enjoyed the heck out of it. Um, I know one of my friends really doesn't like the idea of the new Ghostbusters movie, and he's a bit of a purist. Good on him. He can do him. Uh, I was willing to give this movie a chance, and I am ever so glad I did, because it was simply fun, so much fun and amusing to watch. And I think I am in love with Kate McKinnon's character, maybe a little more than is healthy. I got a bit of a crush on her because she's a little strange, and I like the strange ones. But that's just me. So yeah, that's going to be about it because I could probably ramble on about this for hours. So thank you all for watching. As always, if you like what I'm doing, please give that like button a tap. Give that subscribe button a tap as well, if you haven't already, so you can be kept apprised of when I do new videos. And throw a comment in that comment section. What did you think about the new Ghostbusters movie, if you've seen it? If you haven't seen it, and you're going to go see it, maybe wait to go see it and then throw a comment. But you don't have to. Let's talk. I'd love to get a discussion going as long as it is friendly. Please, there's no need to be all kinds of hateful and whatnot in the comments. Uh, you and I, whoever you are out there, we can discuss things civilly because we are human beings, are we not? We're not ghosts. We can be civil. So I'm going to leave that here. And until next time, my friends, you all take care, and I will see you next time.